What's going on, folks? No intro, just gonna dive right into it. So, you've probably seen for a while now, and I even alluded to it in another video, this Icewind Dale Rime of the Frostmaiden cover leak that's been going around. I'll showcase it right here. Here it is. We saw this, and it says right down here at the bottom, feel the cold touch of death in this adventure for the world's greatest role-playing game. I didn't want to officially make anything, a full video on it because I wasn't sure if it's true. I'm 100% convinced that yes, it is. This is what we're going to be getting. And I have a couple of reasons why, and I'll showcase that shortly. So I just wanted to say that back in January, I had made the theory that we might be going to either a desert-based campaign or a tundra-based campaign because we'd been to a lot of different things. We'd done jungle, we'd done dungeon, we'd done city. We've done, other campaign settings like Barovia and Eberron. And then we got these dice, this Laurel Silverhand's dice set, or Explorer's Kit, which, by the way, I feel like was released way too early. I feel like this dice set should have come out with this Icewind Dale game, this adventure. It feels like they go together, right? It's Icewind Dale, Laurel Silverhands from kind of the northern region. It's also icy blue. That was another thing I made when I did the dice review, that these dice are sort of like an Arctic icy blue. So maybe that's tied to that for some reason. There's also in here, there's a card for Icewind Dale. There's also a card for Drizzt, who was known for living in Icewind Dale for a large portion of his life. So I had said, maybe this is leaning us towards more tundra themed, which did make more sense. Like this should have been like, I don't know why they didn't do like an Explorer's Guide to Wildemount dice set and why they didn't do a Theros dice set. I know they did the digital dice on D&D Beyond, and why they didn't do this released alongside this Icewind Dale game. I don't know. But anyway, back to this. A couple other things. If this is a fake, this is very, very well done. So the rumor goes that the D&D Beyond YouTube account accidentally uploaded this trailer and then caught that my guess is you don't accidentally upload and publish things, right? That's not really how that works. What I'm assuming is they probably have a whole bunch of videos and teasers and things already uploaded on their page ready to go. For when things are announced next week at D&D Live 2020, and someone maybe misscheduled a video release to come out earlier than it was supposed to, looked at the wrong date on the calendar. Maybe they accidentally hit, public, clicked the wrong button and it went to a public rather than staying unlisted, something like that. And then it was immediately deleted, but someone was able to grab this screenshot before it was gone. And again, this kind of wording at the bottom, feel the cold touch of death in this adventure for the world's greatest role-playing game, that seems like the kind of text we'd get on the front cover of a book. This little symbol up here is actually a symbol here of Oral, the one of the evil snow kind of icy goddesses of the Forgotten Realms. Oral, also known as the Frostmaiden. Okay, so that's a very big, deep fake, a fake to take this symbol and put it up in the corner as part of it. That seems like what Wizards would do. That's a lot of work on a fake. Okay, then we also got this piece of promotional art when they announced D&D Live 2020, people exploring a snowy region in a cave, and the official cute art for the t-shirt with the proceeds that go to Red Nose Day is a snowy owlbear, right? More snow Arctic theme going on here. We have Arctic snowy art, we have a snowy owlbear, and we have this cover. So one, I do think that this is legit. And then I want to talk you know what? Let me give you why I think this is even more so, and then we'll talk about a little bit more about my thoughts on release time. So there's this thing coming out called Reality RP, which I'm still very confused on what it is and how it works, but it's a combination of a reality TV show and Dungeons and Dragons. And there's basically, I think it's going to be like a who done it, you vote kind of a thing, and then the game alters based on that. But they started announcing some of the characters, and this is right here is Prosperon, and he is a character who's going to be played by Mark Meer, who is a friend of mine, who is the voice of Commander Shepard if you don't know, from the Mass Effect series. And you can see he kind of looks like a shaman. I think he's actually a prison guard. But this also has a very, like, shamanistic kind of frost giant-y feel to it. And it's very icy themed. And I was like, okay, that must be it. But then they said they're going to make Instagram accounts for everybody and talk about it. Well, let's go over to the D&D Instagram page and watch this video. And this is going to be the nail in the coffin here.
May it please the Council, these are the records of Prosperon, Warden of the prison at Revel's End. To protect their dwindling resources against the never-ending winter of the Frostmaiden's Rime, the citizens of 10 towns had committed to pooling and rationing their remaining food. 10 champions were appointed from the 10 towns. Each would watch the food, and each would watch each other. One of them betrayed the people of 10 towns, and burned the food as a cult offering to the Frostmaiden, Oriel. The 10 champions are now guests here at Revel's End. I have designed a series of tests to determine the purity of their hearts. If there are cultists among them, then I, Prosperon, will root them out. A problem I hope you will join me in untangling. This, then, is our quest. Find the hidden cultist at Revel's End.
Okay, so he used the words Frostmaiden's Rime. We know that it's referencing 10 champions from the 10 towns, which is from Icewind Dale. And he also references Oral, all in there. And it says right even here in the Instagram post, join our host Prosperon, the prison warden of Revel's End, in rooting out the cultist of Oral hiding amongst the champions of the 10 towns. Okay? That's it. Like, it's definitely gonna be a thing. I don't think we can even consider this to be a hoax anymore. I'm sure Amazon will put it out in like a day or two, and then we'll get it. It just sucks for Wizards of the Coast, right? They build these crazy D&D live events to unveil these awesome new products, and they're almost all spoiled well before they happen. I remember last year, I was at D&D Live 2019, and we were there waiting for the announcements that night. We're there like in the mid-afternoon. They were going to announce the products at like in the evening. And we all saw that it was going to be Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus because it was leaked on Amazon while we were all sitting there waiting for the announcement. Like, it's just ridiculous how that happens. But let's talk about release timing and what I think. So, I think we got to go back and look at the Stream of Many Eyes where they announced Tomb of Annihilation. At that event, one of the first things they announced was that the new adventure path is going to be Tomb of Annihilation, releasing in September. Then shortly after that, they also mentioned that Xanathar's Guide to Everything, a player-based resource having new classes and other things for players, was going to be releasing in November. All right, and that was kind of the time frame. New adventure in September, new source book, in November. Now, last year with Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus, Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus came out in September. We got Eberron in November, but that was really a campaign setting, not a source book. But that's what I'm going to say. We're going to get the official announcement that the next adventure path is going to be Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden, releasing in September. That'll be right around the same time as the newest R.A. Salvatore Drizzt novel will be released. And I don't know if there's ever been any more updates on the Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance video game, which stars Drizzt, Catti-brie, and the other companions of the Hall. If I was in charge and it was done, I would try to release that game around the same time too. So you'd have a video game dealing with characters from 10 towns. You'd have this adventure for D&D, and you'd have the novel. So if they all came out around the same time, that'd actually be pretty smart in my mind. But we'll see. I don't know how that's gonna go. But anyway, that's what I think the release timing is gonna be. I'm guessing the adventure is gonna be probably 1 to 13. That seems to be Wizards of the Coast's new thing. With Descent into Avernus, we saw that. Maybe eventually you'll start to get campaigns that'll go from 1 to 15, like we did when they first came out, but those were all made by third parties. And then maybe ultimately the true dream is the 1 to 20 campaign. But I'm thinking I have a theory that it might come down to resources and like the amount of pages they don't want to print in a book. I don't know. Are you excited about Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden, this new adventure path? I'm excited to see what kind of gameplay rules we're going to have regarding icy and tundra terrain. I'm also going to assume there's going to be magic items of some kind. I think this would be the good opportunity to give stats, like an NPC stat block, for Drizzt, for Brunner, for Catti-Ree, and for Wolfgar. They had stats back in the 3rd edition version of one of the Faerun books. They had their own stats. I'd love to see them in 5th edition. Let's truly answer the question. Let's publish Drizzt as a ranger, like we all, or sorry, as a fighter, like we all know he is, with no levels of ranger. Let's get the NPC stat blocks that everybody wants to see. And then, maybe we'll also get, some of the legendary items of the Companions of the Hall will also be published in this book, possibly, right? Like Twinkle or Icing Death. I think one of them got updated in the novels. I think it's Icing Death Twinkle got like a whole bunch of other stuff added to it. And like Tomril the Heartseeker can now shrink down to fit in Drizzt's belt buckle. There's all sorts of crazy nonsense. I'd love to see those items get official stat blocks. And then the only other thing I'm curious too is, what are your thoughts on this front cover character? Right? These may be just wolves. These may be winter wolves. This is obviously not an owl bear, and this, I don't believe, Auril, when we look at Auril's art, it's very clearly a woman. This is art of Auril right here, an avatar of Auril, I should say. So is this Auril's new avatar? If so, I think this is way cooler. I'm getting very big vibes of Washi Tong from the library in Avatar: The Last Airbender from this character. Maybe this is Auril's new personification. Maybe that's part of the adventure. Maybe this is a new avatar of Auril, or maybe this is some new great champion of Auril. I'm curious. What do you think? Anyway, I thought it was at a point now where there's enough information that I could make a legitimate video about it. So let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll see you all next time.